Hey everyone, and welcome to the Ultimate Guide to Drawing Faces. In this lesson, you're going to learn how to draw the ears.
Let's face it, ears aren't the easiest thing to draw. And because they're so complex, a lot of people neglect learning how to draw ears. But if you invest the time necessary to practice and study how to draw ears, you'll find that they're really quite manageable. So let's get started. I'm going to begin with the side view of the ear, and then we'll use this as a reference when we're drawing the front view and the 3/4 view. I'm going to start with a line. It's got a slight angle to it. It's not perfectly up and down. And then build the ear shape. Now this is a shape most people are familiar with. We know that at the end of the ear, either the lobe connects to the side of the face like this, or sometimes it connects more like this. It's just up to you to decide what kind of ear you want to draw. And from this point, it really becomes a case of just placing certain elements. And for me, I've just memorized the placement of these. And I think that's really the best way to go about doing it. Just take some time to memorize these few shapes and how they relate to each other, and then you'll be able to build on that. So I start with this flap here. I go down. And I let that fade off. Then I bring a curved line starting from within this area. It goes up and around. I get a bit lighter with my pressure. I bring it back. So it's important that you don't draw the ear and connect these 2 points like this. Sometimes it looks that way, but really this goes underneath and this is on top. Sometimes I'll shade this to show that this is coming around and then underneath and this is on top. From here you have kind of a Y shape where you get an indentation here. And the skin comes out here. And sometimes it goes above this rim, this outer rim. And the Y shape is formed here. And then this can be often in shadow. And then this area too is often in shadow. And it's common to have a cast shadow from this rim cast onto this area as well. And I often will shade a little bit to show the depth and the form. You'll get darkest spots often here and here. This can sometimes get pretty dark too, this area here. Just adding a few more contour lines. Notice when I add those lines, kind of following the form, so not doing this, kind of going like this. So we get a sense of that rounded form. So that's our basic ear shape. Now from here, it's a good idea to just keep drawing this a few times until you get comfortable with it. Start with the outer one, get this, curves, points back. This area here. And you have this Y shape that forms. Add a bit of shadow. There you have it. And eventually you get pretty fast at doing this. It's really the same shapes over and over again. So that's the basic structure of the ear from the side view. So now let's do the front view of the ear. And I'm going to use the side view of the ear as reference for the front view. Now, if the side view fits in a shape like this, approximately, then when thinking of the front view, we have to think about this going in perspective. So the first thing we don't see is the front plane. That is, if this was in a box, like so, then this would be the front plane. This is what we don't see from the side view, but this is what shows up in a front view. That's the first thing. Then we have to think of the ear being contained within a box like this. So the shape we end up with is very different than the side view. Now sometimes people's ears come out more, and this direction. And so the shape will be a bit different. But even then, it's a long way away from the side view. Okay, so in the front view now, we have basic shape. And now, pretty much, we start with the same things as in the side view. So we have this flap here, then we get this part coming around. But remember, because it's in perspective, we wouldn't see so much of that. And then this comes around the rim of the ear. And here, you often just see this going behind this flap. Then we get that Y shape. That is pretty prominent. But now, when we do this area of the ear, from a front view, it often pops out a little bit. And then this wraps around. So it's a bit more complicated than the side view just because everything's going in perspective now. Remember, we're fitting it in a box like this. Now here we have an ear that's popping out a bit more, but it can also serve as a 3/4 view, and really it's just a step in between this and this. So we still start our basic shapes. This comes around. And this going down, in. Now from this angle, what you often see is instead of this being a smooth arc, you'll get something that looks like this. Comes this way. And you get a bit of an overlap. So let's include that. Y shape in. Okay, let's draw the ear as seen from behind. So the silhouette is pretty much going to be the same as a front view. The difference is what's inside. Now, a good way to start is by indicating the rim. Then what I did here is just taking this line just overlapping it a bit. So this part seems to come forward and go behind. And then here I just try to get a bit of that shape of the back of the ear. Now let's do the back 3/4 view of the ear. And this can be kind of confusing. I like to think of it a bit like a question mark shape. So what happens is this is the ear rim, goes around, and then here's where the lobe is. If we think of a question mark, and this is the hook, and this would be the dot. So we have the ear rim going around. All this is back view. But now we start to see the front view. Or rather, we see elements of the front. The ear flap would be here. This is within the ear. But we also see elements of the back, such as this area. So you get something that looks kind of like this. And thankfully, it's not often that you have to draw the ear from this view. But it's good to be able to at least know how you would approach it if you did run into a situation where you had to draw the ear like this. So to review, when you draw an ear from back view, silhouette stays pretty much the same. Get the rim, and a shape that looks like this, and from the 3/4 try and remember the question mark.
If you like this video, please help us by liking, commenting, and subscribing. Tell us which videos are your favorites or give us suggestions about what you'd like to see in the next video. And if you'd love to join a private community of dedicated artists, come check us out at pencilkings.com, where we help artists from all over the world improve their artwork every single day.